Good morning and welcome to part 3 of our Chrome OS webinar series. I'm your host, Jim Hoey. In part 2, we talked about how Chrome device management is all about reducing total cost of ownership, device monitoring, white glove service, and setting the OS in single app kiosk mode. All of those features help individuals have more control over their endpoints with less operational costs. Today, we're extremely excited to be announcing 2 of new AOPEN Chrome OS devices, the Chromebox Mini and the 10.1-inch Chromebase Mini. Joining us again today is AOPEN's Chrome OS and CDM engineer, Miles Schofield. He'll be taking us through our devices' profiles and highlighting the unique features. If you have any questions during this webinar, enter them at any time in the question panel on the right-hand side of your screen. There will be an engineer answering them during the session. Miles, how are you?
Doing well, thanks.
Good. Glad to have you. So just a quick background of AOPEN. AOPEN has been a ODM original design manufacturer for over 20 years. We've pioneered from the small form factor PC and are a subsidiary of Wistron Group. We partner with Google to create the world's only commercial grade Chrome OS hardware. And it's this hardware that we're here to talk about today. So before we dig deep into the topic of today's webinar, why don't you start off by talking a little bit about why Google came to us in the first place?
So like I mentioned in the last webinar, Google's goal in the market is to support commercial applications such as signage, kiosk, point of sale, and they needed an experienced hardware manufacturer similar to their phone business, right? And so when it came to digital signage, AOPEN was a clear choice. And if this webinar was just, if I had to sum it up into 1 minute, then the point would be for commercial applications like these POS and these kiosks, you need commercial grade hardware. And so that was the #1 reason we made that connection.
So commercial grade hardware is something that comes up often. How do you explain that to customers?
So the technical definition, if you look at it on Wikipedia or whatever, just means, so commercial grade means that the devices are designed to be run 24/7, 365. Consumer is 8x7, and this new prosumer grade is 16x7. This definition is not really helpful because, if you're a restaurant and you're only open 8 hours a day, does that mean you're scot-free by just buying consumer grade devices? Of course not. So it doesn't really help you that much, right? The bottom line when it comes to reliability and quality is that commercial grade, it saves you money, right? So since a lot of our customers aren't really familiar with project budgeting and costs and things like that, I usually try and use a metaphor that they can relate to, like a home improvement metaphor, right? So, if you're at your home and your TV breaks and you want to replace it, then you just take out your TV and buy a new one and replace it. No big deal. You can handle that. But if you're at home and your stove breaks, this is where you actually have to make a choice, because are you good enough to detach the gas and electricity and carry it down your steps without killing yourself? You got to get the right dolly and all that stuff, right? So obviously you're going to have to hire someone to do that for you. Same thing applies to the workspace, right? So in your workspace, let's say your restaurants you have a chain of restaurants and you have a whole bunch of 3x3 video walls, right? So that middle screen goes out. Who's fixing that, right? So obviously not you, right? This sort of work needs to either be done by an already hired specialized staff member or by a service specialist, right? And that's where the real savings happen with commercial hardware, is because you avoid these sort of situations. A single hardware failure can more than make up for the cost of an entire device easily, right? Because the guy's got to come out, diagnose, come back in, replace, and go through all these steps. The time and money lost as well is a huge factor. Additionally, there's other hidden costs to your devices failing on site, such as obviously, if your POS goes down, you can't charge people money. And if your menu boards go down, I'm sure everyone's had the situation where they're at a restaurant and they have all the tape up, and because their menu boards are screwed up, and it just reflects poorly on your business. This is why AOPEN just is really, really focused on getting the most reliable devices possible with our sub 2% failure rate on our devices.
So that's a good way, segue into the devices. So why don't you quickly go over just AOPEN's existing Chrome OS?
Right. So when Google first came to AOPEN to develop Chrome OS hardware, the first two devices that we released, which were over a year now, is the AOPEN Chrome Box and the AOPEN Chromebase, right? The spec sheets on these have been out for a while, so I'm just going to briefly go over the key features, review them, but I really want to focus on the main applications and points of these devices, right? So we'll start with the AOPEN Chrome Box, which is over here. As you probably know, it's solid state, fanless, wide temperature range. I'll get into more about this because the Chromebox Mini has a lot of the same features. What you may not know about the Chrome Box is that it actually has an extra display port on the back. And what this allows you to do is you can actually drive two screens at the same time with this. So you can actually have a two-screen menu board set up. Another one of our partners actually created a single player redundancy menu boards using Chrome devices, which means that you can really set up a cheap player redundant menu board system using Chrome, which is really interesting. Other sort of features that people don't know are on this Chrome box is the RJ50 type RS-232 port in the front here. So we have a few partners that have started using these devices for things like omni-channel devices and pause. And what that serial port allows you to do is connect local print and scanners and things like that. And if when you hear that, if you think I thought that was impossible, then you're definitely going to want to come to our next webinar where we talk about our partners working with our advanced Chrome OS development platform called MeldCX. So that's what we're going to hit in part 4. So anyway, back to the Chromebox. The last thing I wanted to talk about was the purpose of the Chromebox, right? It was our first venture with Google. And so it was released as a very just general workhorse, right? It was designed to be a middle market device, do a lot of things, and just you would expect. The first has to be a pretty general idea, and you'll see later on that the new devices are much more specific from a market focused standpoint. The Chromebox, on the other hand, was designed with a very specific purpose, right? So the 22-inch Chromebase. The specific purpose that it was designed for was for self-checkout and for any sort of omni-channel device that you would have in a retail environment. And the reason why 22 is important is because if you have touch or interactive devices larger than this, the customer will get a little bit lost when they're using an omni-channel or a self-checkout, right? You really don't want them looking around on a larger screen, and people will tend to order less if the screen is so large, the entire store can see you add 5 big marks. And so this thing is really ideal, and it's still ideal for all these self-checkout sort of situations that a lot of restaurants are moving for today. This device is also really good in terms of the size is really good also because any smaller and it's not really an eye-catching device, right? So we'll get into why the Chromebase Mini is smaller in just a little bit. So
hardware side for that, ports.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure. So on the hardware side, the same exact hardware that's inside the Chrome boxes and the Chromebase, right? So the added all-in-one features are, of course, the screen. It's an IP54 rated front with a full HD 10-point touch screen. It also has tamper-resistant port coverings right here on the side that you can only reach with a paper clip. It also has, there's a port covering that you can cover up all the ports and protect them from the back. The reason why all this stuff is important is because on non-commercial touch devices, there's no way to protect that stuff. So you either got to jam them in a kiosk so no one in your store can mess with it and things like that. So all these protected ports and this lockdown of the system allows you to just put it out in the open on a real simple stand. You don't have to integrate it into some complex housing to protect anything, right? Last thing for the Chromebase is it has an HD webcam and speaker on the front, certified Google Hangout. The one feature that a lot of people don't know about the Chromebase is that it actually has an HDMI out on the back. This allows you to do some of our partners have developed applications where they have this on a podium out front, and so people can select things and it'll actually the selections that they make on the interactive device will update a big video wall or stuff like that.
So it's not just mirroring the device, you're actually interacting with the application here and something new.
Yeah, so you can sort of select menu items or whatever, or clothing, and it'll highlight the clothing on a big video wall, right? So finally, the Chromebase also has 4 RJ50 serial ports on the back, right? So generally speaking, we've had some really good applications with the Chromebase. It pretty much fit into a lot of projects that we thought, a lot of self-checkout, a lot of omni-channel, and personal interactive device setting.
Well, as you expect, I mean, there's a lot of use cases and a lot of great interest for this product alone. But let's move into, especially for the original Chromebox and the Chromebase, but let's move into the big announcement of our 2 new devices and introduce the Chromebox Mini and the Chromebase Mini. Can you explain why AOPEN went the Mini for 2017?
Right. So as I mentioned, the first 2 devices we released were pretty general, right, in terms of power and cost and things like that. So we really wanted to specifically design 2 new devices for 2 very specific smaller markets, right?
So I guess let's start with the Chromebox Mini.
Okay. So the Chromebox Mini. The Chromebox Mini is designed basically to be the commercial version of all these single screen, single purpose players you see in the market. There are just tons and tons of them. The problem is that they're all not commercial grade, right? And so what AOPEN really wanted to bring to the market was a really cost effective, price competitive challenger to all these devices, right? And that's what this box is really about. It's got all this, most of the same great features as the original AOPEN Chromebox, fanless, solid state, dual Wi-Fi, shock resistant, wide temperature range. It's got, this box in particular has a quad-core Rock chip in it with 4 gigabytes of RAM, so it's able to push the 1 full HD video channel. So it's, like I said, single screen purpose. The main difference is that no longer any serial support. So if you have a serial application, it's got to have a USB converter and driver associated with it. But the main difference for the box, of course, is the price.
So we're really excited to offer the Chromebox Mini MSRP at $189. This means commercial grade is now extremely affordable. So then let's just move into the Chromebase Mini.
Right. So the Chromebase Mini, with the 10.1 inch screen, it may seem like sort of a strange size, right? And the whole purpose behind the 10.1 inch screen is that we really want to compete in that space where it's all those non-commercial grade tablets, right? You think legacy pause, web pause, bump screens, loyalty screens, the ones that you type your phone into and things like that. These are all situations where currently a lot of non-commercial grade hardware is used. You can always see it because they have all these crazy mounts that have to latch on the side, and everything has huge cases on it and things like that.
You need those custom mounts in order to be able to...
Yeah. So the whole idea behind the Chromebase Mini is that in all those applications, we wanted an actual VESA mount on the back. It also comes with this cool kickstand, and it was specifically designed to be a commercial option in those spaces. So we're already talking to a whole bunch of those companies that do those sort of solutions to basically upgrade their hardware. And so just like the Chromebase, it has the same exact components inside, so same processor, same memory as the Chromebox Mini, same stuff inside, and a lot of the same features in the screen as well. So IP54, 7 Bose, 10 point. It also has the same tamper-proof switch on the side, and it also comes with a cover on the back to cover up all the ports, right? The one thing it does still maintain, the Chromebase Mini maintains, is that it still does have that extra HDMI port. They can drive a full HD screen. So this, once again, can be in application where it has some sort of number or selection thing, and it can drive an HD video wall if you want. So, of course, now we gotta hear about the price.
So we are offering the Chromebase Mini. MSRP is $349, so that not only makes it the first 10-inch commercial Chrome all-in-one, but it's again the most affordable all-in-one solution out there. So again, the reason why people come AOPEN again is for the reliable devices. Our engineering expertise in small form factor devices are shown in these two new Chrome OS units. The Chromebox Mini and the Chromebase Mini are positioned at such a competitive price point to really make these devices available for any commercial application. Again, if you want more information about these products, you can email us at info@aopen.com or give us a call at 888-97-AOPEN. That is 888-972-6736. Thanks again for attending today's webinar. Join us for part 4 when we discuss Meld CX, a rapid application framework on Chrome OS. Or you can also interact with our new devices at DSC in Las Vegas on March 29th and the 30th of 2017 and visit us in our booth. Booth number 1649. Again, thank you, Miles. Thanks for showing us the new devices, and thanks everyone for joining us. If you have any more information, please contact us at info@aopen.com. Have a great day.